Hey guys, got another dream. So this dream was let's see here. I was camera's okay. So I really don't know how to start it off because the view was weird. Okay, so I wish I had drawn a picture. So imagine I'm really stumped on how to start this. Like it's probably really easy. Okay, so the world. This is the world, and then right here is a meteor. Still the world, meteor, and then me. So I'm looking down, and I'm able to see the meteor coming towards the Earth. So my perspective, like the meteor is like same size as the Earth, but it's really not. Perspective. The closer it is to you, the bigger it looks. So I'm really close to this meteor, and I'm seeing it as it's coming to the Earth. Then the Earth is coming into view, and then that's when I become the meteor, and then I, like the meteor, like it's coming down really fast. It comes down so fast that it hits the earth. Like it hits not just the earth, like I mean it hits the ocean, and it's literally at the earth's crust. So it cut through all of the water. Like the water didn't slow it down at all, not one bit. Like it cut through all the water and hit the bottom of the ocean, and then it stopped. Now this is the thing: it sent off tremors. Now that wasn't the worst part. There was a small wave on this side, but it was this huge tsunami that blocked out the light. Like it was just gone. Like there was like it blocked out the sun. It was like just a wall of insane amount of water, and I was just in awe. And then that's when I went from being the meteor, like I went from seeing the meteor, seeing over top of the meteor, to being the meteor, to now being the wave, being the tsunami. Now I was coming over the city. Now the city could be two things. Like it could be either California or New York. I'm leaning more towards New York, um, because of what the atmosphere looked like or whatever. I've never been to California before, but I have seen pictures of California. But I'm pretty sure like I'm being led in the name of New York. So the wave was huge, and it came over the city, and people were running away from me. Me being the wave or the tsunami, people were running away from me, but they were still being sucked up by the water, and buildings were being destroyed, and cars were being tossed out of the way, and even planes were being consumed, and helicopters, because the wave was so wide that they couldn't move out of the way fast enough, and the wave was so tall that they couldn't go above the wave, and the wave was so fast that it caught up to them. So it was ridiculous. It was just it was a monster wave. And then I came over to, like, it just looked like a skyscraper building, and I hit this building, and then once I hit this building, it broke the water broke through the doors, and it filled up the basement of this building, and parts of the other floors of this building. Like it was just filling it up. And once I got to like the very bottom of this building, and I was filling up this room, excuse me, I was filling up this room. Um, I came out of the tsunami, and I hit a wall. Like it hurt so bad. Like I felt it, like my shoulder, everything. I was like, ugh, really? So I hit this wall, and I am drenched in water. And the water, like if you know anything about a tsunami, you know that if a tsunami hits, it hits and then it comes back. Like all the water just drags back into the ocean just so it can do it again. So that's what happened. Like once I was inside the building, I hit the wall, bam, hit the wall, and I'm out of the tsunami. And then that's when the water is being dragged back out of the building and out of the city and back into the ocean just so I can do it again. Now I know that at that moment that I had to get out of that building. So I was exhausted. Like it felt like I ran a marathon, and I don't run very often. I'm not that type of person. But yeah, back to what I was saying. So I got up, and as I'm getting up, like I'm walking, I'm like so heavy, I'm weighed down by this water, I'm fatigued. I'm going up these steps, and I get to like this elevator, because I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just take the elevator. It'll just be quicker, I won't be as tired, and maybe I can run, try to get away from this thing or whatever. And once I got, sorry, once I got to the elevator, I was pressing it, and the elevator just wouldn't open. Now imagine if you had like a cup of water and you had ice in it, and you shook it around, and you heard the ting ting thing of the ice or whatever, and so it, or whatever, if you had any type of liquid in it or something in it, and it was hitting the door, like you'll hear like the slushing sound. So the elevator just would not open, would not budge. I was like, God, I'm so tired. But I was like, okay, fine, I'll take the steps. So I took the steps, and I got to the first floor. Once I got to the first floor, I heard the ding of the elevator. The elevator opened, and 7 bodies floated out. And the sixth, it was a woman, and the 7th woman got up, and she just coughed up like seawater. And when she did that, I looked at her. I just looked at all the dead bodies, and then I looked at some of the people that was injured from the first wave of the tsunami and everything like that. And I was angry. Like, I was angry. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. And somebody ran up to me and was like, how did you know? How did you know this was going to happen? And I was like, because God showed me. He told me this was going to happen. And I was like, I told my friends. I told my family. And for some reason, I was like, even the government knew. Really? Even the government knew? I was like, even the government knew. And then that's when these chairs showed up inside the building, and I sat down in one of the chairs, and more people were from the outside that had survived the first wave was coming into the building, because this was like the only building kind of standing. So they came into the building, and they sat down, and I was looking around. I was looking around at everybody, trying to figure out if I know them or not. And that's when this aircraft had landed outside of the building. Now, this was no regular aircraft. It was almost like a spaceship, okay? So it was a spaceship, either way. And if you've seen Lord of the Rings, like, you would imagine, like, orcs and elves. And so, like, in one line, there was elves, and in one line, there was orcs. And so, as I'm looking at these people, or these beings, they were not like the first line, where they were more appealing to look at, but they were cold-hearted and ruthless, and I knew that they were fallen angels. And then the second line, they were like orcs, just very disgusting looking and scary, just hideous to the eye, but I knew that they were demons. So it was fallen angels and demons. If you don't know the difference between fallen angels and demons, it's just like, okay, so fallen angels had sex with humans, and humans had given birth to the Nephilim and other hybrid races. And once those hybrid races died off, they became disembodied spirits. So demons are disembodied spirits, and fallen angels have their own bodies. That's the difference. So, but they that's why demons possess people, because they want bodies. And I think it's somewhere in either Luke or John where Jesus himself mentions the cursed man that is roaming around, which is cursed man roaming around, etc. or something. Like, I'm gonna put the scripture up so you guys can see, but you can do your own research. I would prefer you not to take my own word for it. I would prefer you go look it up yourself and whatever have you. But I'm gonna continue with the dream. So as I was sitting down, I knew that everybody had the understanding that we had to get up and file out of this building in a perfect line. And as we're filing out of this building, these the fallen angels were looking at us in the face, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I got you, or whatever. If you do anything crazy, you're gonna die. And so, like, I knew that I had to file out of this building correctly in a perfect line. And I knew that once I was outside of this building, that I only had 10 minutes to be outside. I don't know why that number came in my mind. I don't know why it's significant or important, but I knew I had 10 minutes to be outside. And once I was outside, I bumped into one of my friends, and she took me over to this car. And when she took me over to this car, she asked this guy for money, and he gave it to her, and she gave it to me. And I knew I had to hide this money. So I knew I had to file out in a line. I knew that these were demons and fallen angels, and I knew that I had 10 minutes to be outside, and I knew I had to, like, again, I think I said that. I knew I had to hide the money. I put it in my back pocket, and then the alarm went off, and I knew that's what it is. I knew I had to be back in the exact same position I was when I left the building. So I tried to get back in the same spot, but I didn't make it. So I didn't make it in the same spot. So I sat down, and then there was people. The rest of the people were coming in, and like the little fallen angel people were like really disrespectful to a woman. It was an older woman. She was kind of big, and she was sitting down. And one of the people came up to her. He was like, "Hey, you kind of big. You need to move over, because if you don't move over, and this guy don't sit down here, then he gonna get tossed out, and he's gonna die." And so that's when she kind of scooted over or whatever, and then that's when, like, they were just like, the people, like the demons or whatever, were just picking at everybody, like just really picking at everybody. And that's when a woman stood up and started singing gospel, and then another man stood up and joined her. And then that's when the demons were surrounding us, walking around us like sharks, just going around. And as they were going around, they were they were pulling their weapons, like they were waiting to see what was going to happen, like if whatever, they were just waiting to see what was going to happen. Like, okay. And something else that was different about the demons and the fallen angels, or the elves and the orcs, like the orcs had like guns, like they had the guns, they had the like really spacey weapons, futuristic weapons, and then the fallen angels had swords and like bows and stuff like that. And then some other stuff happened in the dream, but then I woke up. So that was that one.